Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with .NET MAUI series. So in our previous video, we did a video about pushing data from our .NET app via our API to our database. So we are using MS SQL. So you can see we have the data on our villages. We have the data. So this is our database, if for those who are new. So we have the constituencies, the countries, employees, location, mobile app users, sublocations, and villages. So as you can see on our app, we have the home page, which doesn't have anything. So today we are going to do some of design on our home page so that you're able to see some of the data that we key in. So we have the employees list, we have the countries list. You can see we have the data grid. So on our previous video, we did a video about how to improve the data grid. So if you are new to this channel, consider watching the data grid that is the MAUI.datagrid options that we did. Then we have the locations, the sublocations, the villages, and even the sync data. So the sync data option, we were actually pushing data from our SQLite database from our app through our API to our MS SQL. So we have some data on countries. You can see if we come to sync data, you can be able to upload data with a click of a button through our API. You can see, and when you upload, the data is actually deleted. The same way on the constituencies, you can actually upload some data. So if you click upload constituency, you're able to upload. So then on the constituencies, then we have the locations, which you can also upload it via our app. So if you do that, so all the data is actually uploaded to our server. You can see it is actually being updated. All this data that you see here is coming from our app. So you see these are the data that we just pushed. So 3 locations pushed. If we come to sublocations, we have some locations there. We actually need to sync it. So if you upload, then the data will be pushed to our server. So same way for the villages and the rest. So we have the employees list. So on the employee list, we did a video on how to create this form where you need to select the country, the constituency, the locations, and the rest. So for us to proceed, we need to key in some data on the constituency and the countries. So you'll say Kenya. So here we say Kenya. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and comment down below in case you need a certain kind of video that we should actually do. Then on the constituencies, when you click new, you select the constituency. Then we say Kwanza. This is Kwanza. Then when you save it, then you're able to see it down here. You can actually add another one. Say Nairobi. Save it. Then you're able to see it here. So we can add another for sublocation. Select the constituency, KW, then you say Kawangware. Then when you save it, you're able to see it there. You can add a sublocation. Select the constituent, that is the location name. Then here we'll say KO, say this is Koros. So if we save that, come to our village, you're able to select then we say TU, say Tunis, then we save. That is our village. So when we come to employees, we can see one thing is our data grid it is actually using collection view. So we can actually change that, come to our app, then on our employees form. So this is our employees list. We have it here. So it is actually using collection view, as you can see. So we need to change this to a data grid. So let's copy one of the form that we had done on our data grid. Then we replace it. So come to employees list. So we'll add it here. Then our collection item source will be employees. So we need to replace this here. Then the names. So this is the first name and middle name. So here we'll have this as the first name. Then this will be middle name. Then we have last date of that is the last name. So we need to copy this grid. We'll have another column. Then that will be last name. So we'll have it here. Then another column will be date of birth. So we need to copy this. Then we have it here. Then should be date of birth. So we need to have this here. So the name, we can say this is first name. You can also have this as middle name. Then you can have this as last name. Then you can have this as DOB. So you can have that as DOB. Then we need to do away now with our collection view. So you can do away with this. So we need to import something. We need to remove this. So we need to import the name, the DataGrid namespace. Come to one of our list. So like the villages. Then we need to import this. So come to our employees list. Then we can actually append this here. Then we'll have this old thing. So you can see our form is now fine. Then we'll say this search employee. So if we do that and relaunch our app, our data grid should be fine. So let's launch our app. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing and commenting down below so that you can be able to get notified whenever we post any new video. So let's see how our app looks like as we launch it. So let's wait and see. So there we go. So there we are. So if we come to our employees list, we should be able to see that our data grid is now showing first name, middle name, last name, and date of birth. So let's try and add a new employee. So let's say this is the country, Kenya. Constituency, we select Kwanza. Location, Kawangware. That is the sub-location. The village, then we'll say Jacob. So we say this is Jacob. Then you say Amren. Then you say this is Kimani. Then you say this is the email at gmail.com. Then we say the date of birth. We select the date of birth here. So you can actually choose that, and we just have these as 1930. Then we say, then we capture a photo. So if we capture a photo of our employee, so I'll just take a random photo here. Then there we are. We have the photo and the data. So if we save this, we'll be able to say that employee details successfully added, and you're able to see the records. So we can actually capture another photo. You say Kenya, Nairobi, Kawangware, Koros, Tunis. Actually, we'll check why this is replicating. You say this is macro code OB. Then you'll say this is test1 at gmail.com. Then we'll actually say this is can do that. Then we save it. Then we need to capture a photo. There we are. Do that. Then you can see our photo is there. Then we can actually save it. So you can see it doesn't refresh, or what has happened is it has actually replaced our record. You can see it has actually replaced our record. So we need to check the add button, what it does. So let's come and check on the add button. So that is the add button here. So what does this add button do? Come to our employees form, view model. Then if we do that, this is our add button. So whenever a record is, so we'll do new, then this should be create a sync. So we create a sync, then we save that data. Then let's see. So let's see if there's this. So let's remove these. I want us to be using either we update or delete. So we can do that. So we can create. So if it's an edit, we can. If it's a create, we can create. If it's not a create, then we can update. So if we do that, we say employee added, employee details successfully submitted. Then we say this employee updated. So that is fine. So let's come to our list of employees. We see what is happening. So on our list of employees, we need to load employees data whenever we have added. So this will do employees. If it is, then it's clear, then we update. So these load employees should also come at the top here, which is fine. So that is fine. So let's try to launch our app again and see. So whenever we add an employee, we should have the list of all the employees that we have just added. So let's see our app. So come to employees list. Let's add a new employee. We say Kenya, Nairobi, Kangware, Coros, Tunis, say James, Mwangi, Karanja, Opio. Then we say here that is the date of birth. We capture the employee photo. That is it. We save it. Then we save the data. So you can see now our records are being added. So if we click that, we do that. Nairobi, that is it. This is Jarafeth. Say Jared. Mwangi. Karume. test2@gmail.com. Then we have that. Then we capture a photo. Then we save it. Then we save the data. So you can see our employee records is actually being updated. So what happens if you need to update to edit the employee? So these are the records that we have added based on the data that we submitted. So this is one of the things that we wanted to do. So the next thing that I wanted us to do today is actually update our dashboard. You can see our dashboard, how it looks like, and it is actually empty. So we need to update this dashboard so that we have a very good landing page for our app. And also we have a good design for what we are going to do. So today the main focus will be to update the dashboard so that you have a very good landing page and even showcase our app front. That is, and even showcase our app on the dashboard. So I want us to change something. So on the screen here, let's design our dashboard. So I want us to say, we can have this as content page.content. Then we can close this. Then inside, so we can stop our app. Then we see how it will all go. So once we have this, we can say here, we can have a vertical layout. Then we can have, we can close this. So inside the vertical layout, I want us to have here spacing. You can say spacing, you can have it as 5. You can also have the margin. Say margin is 5. Then we can also have the padding. You can have this as 5 0. Then you can also have that is the vertical options. You can say it's center and expand. So inside here, I want us to have a border. Say border. Then on the border, you can say the padding should be. Can have this as 30. Then stroke. You can have these as black. Can have these as let's say gray. Then stroke thickness stroke thickness should be stroke. Sorry for that. Thickness, you can have these as 0.3. Then we can have stroke shape. So stroke shape. So stroke shape can have these as a round rectangle. Then we can say 1040 round rectangle. Then we can have the background color. So here I'll just do background color. I'll say white. So that is it, and I can close this. Then inside the border, I want us to have a border shadow. So I'll say border.shadow. Then inside the shadow, we'll have the shadow now. So I'll do that. Then I want us to have so here I'll just do this and say brush. I'll say this is white. Sorry, white. Then stroke, not stroke, I'll say offset. Offset, I will say 15. Then radius, I'll say this is can have this as 25. Then we can have opacity. You can say 0.9. Then you can close this. So once we close that, then we need to remove now this shadow, because we have closed that. We are left with the border shadow. So I want us to now have an image here inside just outside the border.shadow. So we can have an image. Then we say height. We define the height of that image. We say 150. Then we'll have the source. So what is the source? So you can copy one of our images under resources, then images. So you can have the .NET image bot. So I'll just copy the name, have it here. Sorry. In fact, I'll just copy it. Then you can define the height. So I'll remove this. Then I'll say here, height request. I'll have it as 150. So let's try and launch our app and see how it looks like. So this is the landing. That is the dashboard. So we are actually designing the dashboard of our app. So we just noticed some of you guys are watching our videos and you are not subscribing. So around 90% of you. So if you feel you are one of them, please subscribe and we'll actually appreciate. So you can see our video, our dashboard. So we have our app here, but I want this logo to be at the top. So let's see how we are going to have that. So let's say we can have this as a, so let's have this as a stack layout. Then I want our vertical options. Then you can say, let's see how it will look like. Then border. So border height request. You can say height request. You can have this as 70. Then we can have the margin here. So we can have this as 3. Then vertical options, can have this as center. Then border padding with add request. Then we had the stroke. These we can have these as 2. Stroke shape, we said round rectangle. Then we say 1040. Background, we say white. Border shadow. So let's see how it looks. So that is actually, so you can see we have the height as reduced. So we can have these as our height request. Can do these as 20. We can have these as 8. Then our height, we can say this is 180. Let's save and see. So we need to change something. Can have this as center and expand. We see. So our height is not reflecting. So border. So I want us to have the icon at the top. Say this is 5. Then the height, you can say this is 280. We see the height is not responding. Can have this as 150. Then there's something we have touched. Can say let's do away with the height of the, yeah. So this is the issue, the border height. So our app is not, this photo, we need to have it at the top here. So I can do, let's see, we can do margin, can say we can remove the margin. Then border, can have this as 160. Let's see how it looks. Then the color, we can say green. Yeah, you can see the border color changing. It should be green, or you can say primary. Navigation, you can say it is a static. You can do static resource, then you can say primary. Yeah, so it will actually show that. Then I want us to have, we can remove the vertical options. Yeah, so the vertical options is actually giving us then we can have the margin here. You can say a 5, so that it actually drops down. Can do 10. We see how it looks. So you can see it has actually appeared at the top. So it has moved. So what we need to check is our height. We can reduce our height of the photo a bit. We see 140. 140. Can do 120. We see. There we are. Can do 100. You see, yeah. So that looks a bit better. Then the background, we can do something. So the stroke, shadow offset, we can do, let's say 20. You see. Then the background, I think that looks better. So another thing that we can do is we can, let's see the triangle, that is it, the margin. Then we can have a background color, let's say a static resource. So instead of having the colors here, guys, I showed you previously, you can actually have all the colors. It is actually the best practice to have all your colors under styles, then colors. So you have all your colors here. So if you have all the colors here, then you can just be reusing them. So if we come to the dashboard, So if you come to the dashboard, then you can do static color. You can say color 1. We see what is the color. So that is the background color. You can see the background color, how it looks. You can do another color 2, color 3. So that is it. So if we come here, you'll see our logo, how our app looks like. So let's add something interesting. So we can start by having some statistics on the dashboard. For example, have the number of employees that we have just added, and have a very good UI for our dashboard. So let's add something. So just below, just after the stack layout, you can close that and we can have this as a scroll view. So we want to add another, so we can say under scroll view, we can have another stack layout here. Then we can stop our app. There we are. So let's see. So we can have, we can even do this. Inside here, we can have our what we want to do. So let's say we want, let's have a grid. So I'll do grid. Then I say background color of the grid will be white. So I'll do that. Then I'll define the grid grid rows. So grid.row definitions. So I'll do row definitions. Then I'll close. Then I'll say row definitions. Then I can say height. So I want, so I'll say this is auto. Then I'll close. So I want like how many rows? I can say like 5. So I'll copy that to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after that, I'll come down after the row definition and put in a stack layout. Then I'll say this stack layout will be grid.row 1, row 0. So I'll say row 0, row 1. So let's say this is row 1. Then I'll say, can have this as 0. Let's say 0. Then I'll say padding will be 2. Then I'll say orientation should be vertical. Then I'll say, so I'll close this. So I'll close this. So after closing, I can have an header, kind of a title. So I'll have this as a, I'll have it as a, can have it as a button. So I'll say button. Then I can say text. So I'll say employee statistics. So that is the title. Then I can also say my, so I'll just have this dot. Then I can also say font size. I can have this as 24. Then I can also have font attributes. I can say it is bold. Then I can also say text color. So text color, I can say static. So static resource, then I can say color. Let's say color 4, we see what is it. So I can do color 4. Then I can close it. So if we launch our app, we should be able to see this button showcasing. Then we'll be able to see how it looks like. So employee statistics, when you just launch the app, we have an employee statistics within the dashboard. So let's see. There you are. You can see that is our app. So we can now have the details of the person who is actually maybe logged in, or even some quick analysis. So let's close this. Let's have another stack layout. So I'll just do another. We can have a vertical layout. Let's say vertical layout. Then we can provide a label. So we'll say label. So then here I can do margin, I can say 5. So then I can say label. Then for this label, I can do font attributes. I want it to be bold. Then I can also do text color. I can have it as maybe static. Then color, let's say color 5. Color 5. How is color 5? Color 3. Kind of, let's close it. So I'll say color. It's actually not showing. So I'll just copy this. Then this should be text color, sorry. Then I'll say color 5. So that is how it looks. Color 6. So that is how it looks. So if I do that, then I can do some text, the text of our label. So we can say the text of our label, we can say you are logged in as. So this is the person who is logged in. So we can have that. Then we can actually have, so we can do that. Then we can say padding, can do 5. Then we can say font size. Font size we can do 15. So this is the. So then after that we can have here another text. So we can now have the person who is logged in here. So on the vertical, so we can say vertical text alignment. We can say start. Then here also we have copied this. So we'll say the person who is logged in, we can say macro code. And we can have another color. We'll say color 7. Yeah. Then here also vertical text alignment, we can say start. Then that should be fine. So font size, font attributes is bold, then I think that's fine. So we can launch our app and see. So let's actually, without even launching it, you can see we have been saving the data, and you can see we have the text overlapping. So what we need to do on our text vertical layout, remember this was grid row 1, 0. So we can have this as grid rows 1, so that we don't have it overlapping. So you can see it has now moved down just below the employee statistics. So the person who is logged in is you are logged in as macro code. So then we can design another thing. Then we can have another. So we can have another vertical layout. Then we'll say this is row 2. Then we can say last login date. We can have a date. Then we can do 12/0. So today is 29th. 29th. So we'll actually append some of these data. So we are actually designing so that we can be able to bind them. So don't worry as to why I'm trying to add code them. So you can see that is the design on how we want it to look like. Then we can have another, we can have another thing, we can say, so the next, this should be row 3. Then what other thing can we have as login details about the data? So we can also have the app version. We can say app version. So this is version 1.0. Then this is grid row 1. So you can see we have the app version. Then we have the other details. So after we have done that, so this is kind of our statistics, our employee statistics or profile. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to have now a grid of some of the analysis that we have. So I'll just copy at the top here. So I want us to do something. What we had done here, stack layout with the, so this is all of what we have been doing. So I want us to have another stack layout where we now bind some of the statistics of the data that we have. So let's do here just after the grid. So we do stack layout. Then within the stack layout, not even after the grid, you can do it inside the grid. So let's do this, let's copy this vertical layout. Then we have it here. Then we say this row will be a row 4. But now we don't want these to be labels. So we'll remove this. Then inside here, we'll specify the grid row is 4, margin is 5. Then we can do this margin as 5. Then we can say 0, 10, then 10. Then inside the margin, we can have a border. So let's say border. Then our border, we can have a stroke thickness. So we'll say stroke thickness. We can have these as 2. Then, or we can have this as 3. Let's have it at 3. Then we can have another thing that is a stroke shape. Stroke shape. Stroke shape, we can have it as a round rectangle. Then we'll do 55, 0, 0, then we'll say 55. Then another thing is the background color. Background color, we can have it as a static resource. Then we can say, let's say color 9. Yeah, we can do color 9. Then height, we can define the height. So height request, we want this to be, let's say 100. So we'll adjust that based on how we want. Then horizontal options, we fill and expand. Then we can close. So let's close this. So once we close, inside the border again, we do border stroke. So we'll say border dot stroke, border dot stroke. Then we can close. Then inside we can do linear gradient brush. Then we can say endpoint. We can do 0, 1. So we'll say 0, 1. Then we can close this. Then inside again, we can do gradient scope, gradient stop. Then we'll say color. We can do orange. Then offset. So I'll say offset. You can do 0, 2. Then I'll also do another gradient scope. So I'll close this. So just close that. Then we'll do gradient stop. I'll do again color, then orange. Then I'll say then offset. Then I'll do 2, 0. Then I'll close. So after that, so if we just save these, we should be able to see what we are doing. So you can see what we are doing on our screen, how it is coming up. So after the background border.stroke, we can do now another, we can say stack layout. We close that. Then we can do a margin. We can say this 3. Then orientation, we can actually do this as a vertical. Let's just do vertical layout. Then margin is 3. Then we can now have a label. So we'll say label. We can say we can put in font attributes. This should be bold. Then we can have a font size. Font size, we can say it is 20. Then we want a margin. You can say this is 3. Then you can have horizontal options. We can have this to start and expand. Then we can have the text. So we'll say the text, we can say this is a total total records. So we'll say this is total records. Then we can have this as the vertical text alignment, we can have it at the center. Then we can close this. So if we close that and save, we should be able to see on our mobile app what is happening. So you can see the margin. You can have 5. We see how if it drops, this should be, let's see, this should be 5. We see 8. Yeah, so we try to make this a bit within there. So then horizontal, so let's say horizontal text alignment, let's have it at the center. Yeah, I think can have these as stack layout. Let's change this to stack layout or horizontal. Let's say these are horizontal stack layout. We see let's have it as vertical. So I want us, we can also say font attributes, so it is bold, that's fine. So after you have done that, you can see the total records. Then we need to do something on our label. You can see we have the font, the label. Then we can copy. Let's just maintain this as stack layout. Then you can have these as can say horizontal options, can say vertical. Then inside we have this. Then within here we can do another stack layout. Then we say margin is 3. Then we say orientation, can say it's horizontal. Then we can close that. Then inside we can have another label. Then on this label we say font size is that, margin we say is that. Then start text, we can say total employees that we have recorded. Then if we save this, let's see how it goes. Yeah, so you can see we now have the employees. Then so we can have that. Then we can also copy these inside here, and we say we want now to append the total employees, let's say 5 or 50. Then the text alignment, we should say this is so horizontal text alignment, we should say this is end. So if we save that, we should be able to see some total, then it has disappeared. So we'll say this start. So if we save that, then we should be able to have, so we should say this is margin should be same. So horizontal option, you should have this maybe at the end. Yes. So you can see we have now the total employees, then we have these as we go. So total records, total employees, we have it as 50. So we can now have all the records that we had done. So, but now on the height, we can have these as 180. Our height of the, yes. So you can see our height has grown now. So we can copy some of these layout. We can copy this layout here. Then we can say total countries. Then if we do that, it should come down, as you can see. We can also copy this, paste it here, and say total constituencies. Then if we save, we are able to see that. So we can actually increase the size of our there we are. So we can do 250. So it is actually bigger than what we expected. So we can also maybe do away with these total records, so that we just have the. So if we do that, you can see we have the total constituencies. Then we can do now the total sublocations. Can do total total locations. Then if we save, we are able to see it there. If we do that again, total sublocations. So just within the dashboard, you can be able to tell the number of records that you have. So let's try to decrease the margins. So if we do 3 and save it. So let's also try to reduce this 5, 3. We do this 3. We squeeze it. If we save, yeah. So let's try to have our margin. Let's try to have the villages. So then if we do that, then the village has actually dropped. So let's squeeze let's squeeze this top part for the logo. So let's come and squeeze it here. So here we'll do, can say 5. Then we can do the height of 80. So if we save it, it has squeezed a bit. So we need to squeeze the frame. They should be, can see the padding, do this 20. There we are. Then we can squeeze the, can say this is 30. We see how it looks like. There we are. Then another thing that you can squeeze is our employee margin. You can say this is 3. So if we save that, then we can actually now increase the size of our frame. You can say this is to 80. Then you can see our villages is now showing. So that is all on our dashboard. So you can see we have been able to do some things on our dashboard. So let's try to have these as unique figures. We say 40. We can have these as 21. You can have these as 17 or 18. You can have these as 29. And you can have these as 60. You can have these as 150. So that is some of the, so that is how it looks. So you can see now how our screen looks like. So I don't know if these colors, we can have them a bit unique. So let's say on our layout, we can have these as the label, the text, that is the text color. So you can do text color. Then you can say dark orange. Do you have such a color? Dark orange, yeah. So if we do that and save, we can be able to see, you can be able to see the color. So you can actually have these as a part of our color. Then you can see how it looks like. Dark orange, so we'll just copy that. So sorry for the colors, guys, of just mixing colors here, but you can actually adopt a very good branding so that you have, so if we do that, We do that, just do that, do that, do that, then we do this. So if we save it, you can be able to see, but it doesn't look a bit good. So we can try another one. We say, let's use the static resource, then we say color 3. You see how so you say color 3, I think that doesn't look good. Color 5, color 10, as color 2, 3, 4. Let's see 4 it looks like. Yeah, we can retain 4. Can have 4 we see here. We can actually have these as orange. Can have these as orange. We can retain these as orange, red. Yeah, so we can retain that. Then the others we retain as color 4. So you can say this is orange, red, orange, red. Then these we retain it as color 4. Say this is orange, red for the numbers. Then we have these here, orange, red. Then we have these here, this orange, red. We have these here, orange, red. Then you have these here. So that looks better. So you can see now how our app looks like. So that is our dashboard. So that is it for today, guys. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and watching our next video. See you on our next series. Bye.